The artist of this painting is Vasily Kandinsky. He was born on December 16th, 1866 in Moscow. His family was in a good environment since his dad was a businessman. When Kandinsky was less than 10 years old, the family moved to Odessa where his father ran their tea factory. At the time, he attended a classical gymnasium, also learned how to play cello and piano, then took a drawing class with a coach. The coach mentioned that he remembered that drawing and a little bit later painting lifted him out of reality on the Kandinsky website. When Kandinsky was young, you can see the same color combinations used in his paintings. Although later in life, he ended up going to Moscow where he entered law faculty of Moscow University, where he graduated with honors since his parents encouraged him to follow a different path. 6 years later, he got married to his cousin Anna. 10 years later, 30-year-old Kandinsky decided to quit his job and focus on painting completely. In 1896, he left to enter painting school called Anton Asby's in Munchen, which at the time was considered to be an important center of European art. Later in the 1900s, he entered the Munich Academy of Arts, where his master thought that Kandinsky's palette was too bright. At those times, his paintings were about landscapes where he played with colors, lines, and spots. Kandinsky founded an art group called Phalanx in 1901, where he then started a school and began teaching himself different skills. He then arranged exhibitions for his 12 partners who were part of his art group. He then started getting more exhibitions for himself in different places like Moscow and Jack of Diamonds art groups. Kandinsky drew a painting called The Black Spot in 1921. The individual elements combined as in a symphony orchestra to create a dynamic sound on the canvas, mentioned by Kathaus Zurich on Google Arts and Culture. The painting uses many lines and circles, shapes that do seem like a symphony orchestra, and looking at it makes you hear the symphony in your ears. All the lines, circles, and colors combine to create some sort of sound in the head when looking at the painting. The artist of this painting is Paul Klee. He was born on December 18th, 1879 in Switzerland. He was known to be both a Swiss and German painter. Both his parents were musicians, where Klee developed his skills in music since his dad knew how to sing, play the violin, piano, and organ, and his mother was a music teacher at the Bern State Seminary in Halfel near Bern. Klee became very good at playing the violin at the age of 11. He was invited to play as a member of the Bern Music Association. As any other child would, Klee followed his parents' desires of them wanting him to participate more in music, but as time passed and he became a young adult, he rebelled against his parents' desires with taking visual arts. Since he also believed modern art music was lacking meaning for him, Klee was more into traditional music from the 18th and 19th century, but in art, he was looking for that freedom of exploring new styles and ideas that were different and new. In 1897, he started a diary where he wrote about his life and his thoughts on life until 1918. During his free time, Klee was into literature, where he then later wrote about aesthetics and art theory for later artists. He then began studying in art in 1819 at the Academy of Fine Arts in Munich with other artists Franz von Stuck and Heinrich Neer. He then received his fine arts degree and traveled to Italy for about a year, where he spent time in Naples, Rome, and Florence, while also studying the master painters of past centuries. After attempting new things, Klee was still devoting half of his time to music. He was playing in an orchestra with his violin and also writing theater reviews along with writing concerts. Klee was received well by Cubbon with his sarcastic and absurd painting he was making at that time. As his life goes on, he does a few art exhibitions from 1912 and 1913, then takes trips to Tunis where he realized he was a painter on an emotional level, finding his place in painting. Then joins the military, fighting in the World War One. A few years pass along with his career. He gets into teaching moments but fails, but secures a 3-year contract with Hans Gold, where his career began becoming more successful. In 1937, he painted a painting called Super Chess, which describes itself. It's a chess board that has an extra kick of color he added to some squares, but it seems to go together well.